Okay, 5, 6, 7, and action. Hello there, I am Zintle Ramano, founder of Black African and Beautiful Media Group, which is a digital marketing agency that is based in Johannesburg, South Africa. I really like the way I did my makeup today. Like, I really like it. Let me zoom out. I was filming for Bab Gaming. Like a mini breakdown, not really a breakdown, but like a mini just feeling insecure, obviously because of like my BPD and all of these other extra things. But anyways, I've probably had a couple of violent outbursts before, and altercations. I got big problems. All this ass. Action. Well, and here we are. I've been thinking about doing this video for 2 years now. At first I was like, oh, it's nobody's business and all of that in terms of what I'm personally going through. But when I decided to do my live Zintle, right, it was a way to not only document what I do in my business life but also personal life. And I think it's also a way for me to rediscover myself. It's a way for me to rediscover why I am the way that I am. So because of that, I have a confession, which is you know, I have borderline personality disorder. So what this illness is, it's not something that you're born with. It's something you get diagnosed with, where it's something genetic, and you most likely won't find out about it unless something magnificent and huge has happened. So 2019, not gonna rehash that part of my life. I think I've spoken about it many times before in season 1 of my live Zintle, which you can binge watch over here or over here. It's confusing sometimes. So this might go into like cuts because I have 3 minutes left on my camera. But just to get into it, I'm gonna give you guys the basis, like a 1-minute basis. Borderline personality disorder is a disorder that is developed within early adulthood, and it is, let me say, I don't know the statistics, and I'm gonna go into research for it so that you guys are more educated as I'm also learning about myself. Contrary to popular belief, it has nothing to do with having multiple personalities. If anything, it has to do with you know, just extreme mood changes. So as much as it's similar to bipolar disorder, what differs is that bipolar disorder, you have one constant mood over a long period of time. So you can be deeply sad, deeply angry, or deeply happy for a month, 2 weeks, and a couple of days. Whereas with borderline personality disorder, your mood just swings throughout the day, all day, throughout the rest of your life, and it's exhausting. So I wake up exhausted almost every day because of the amount of emotions I'm punched with. And yeah, let's dive into it. Okay, so I don't even know how to get through this video because obviously it's very difficult for me. But I think that because I, like, growing up, before I had what I had, like, no one really spoke to me about mental health and its importance. It's been quite a journey that I've had to discover on my own. I don't come from a family where it's okay to express your feelings or how you're feeling that day and all of that. And also I remember the first time I had, like, when I noticed I had mental health issues, where I felt like I thought it was depression that I had, right? And I remember saying, I want to see a psychiatrist. I've been going for therapy, love the therapy, but I can tell I need to be medicated. And the parent, I won't tell you which one of my parent it was, but the parent basically said I shouldn't go on meds, I'll become addicted to them, you know, when it's not healthy. I should just, you know, be strong. And then I ended up going to a doctor, a black doctor. I guess they wanted me to go to a black doctor because, you know, doctors that are black and African can define whether it's something psychiatric or something that has to do with ancestors. But I could just tell, I was like, what I'm feeling is not spiritual. It has nothing to do with ancestry. There's something wrong with me. And he put me on these meds, and this was just before I was doing my internship in America. if those of you who are new to my channel, why my accent is confusing. And this was just before I was going to America for my internship, and the meds he gave me were wrong. Like, I felt like I was drunk, like, and high at the same time, which is not what I was supposed to be feeling. Finally, I found a perfect psychiatrist, Dr. Gary Fine, and we've been experimenting with my meds, and I think we finally found a routine that works for me, until he ghosted me. How messed up is that? My psychiatrist ghosted me. But I'm gonna definitely get on track. I think the most important thing when you have borderline personality disorder is to have a team of doctors that are helping you consistently. You have to go, like, at least on a weekly basis, if you can't afford it, a monthly or bi-monthly basis, to a therapist to talk about your issues. There's certain things that you may experience with BPD that you can't vent to other people about, and they won't really understand it, because they might say just be happy, which is not the case with BPD. It's smoke and mirrors. The second is to have a good psychiatrist, one who's patient with you, one who's not just going to drug you over, like make you like have multiple amounts of like medication that is just not good for your body and your system. So you need a good balance. So how would you define that you have borderline personality disorder? It goes from like everyday mood swings to having a feel of abandonment. Most people with BPD also have really chaotic interpersonal relationships, especially romantic relationships. They idolize a person, and they also like mirror the people around them, and they have this constant fear. This is because of the abandonment. They have this constant fear that either people don't like them or people don't want to be around them, which is something that I identified with my BPD. I always thought I was right. I was like, that person doesn't like me, I don't like them too, since they don't like me, but please like me, you know, and all of that. And now it's so funny, once I got my diagnosis, when I go through certain things, I'm able to step back now, and I think it's also the adulthood in me. I can step back and say, whoa, this isn't me being Zintle, this is Zintle being Zintle. This is Zintle going through an episode of BPD. Another thing is, a big indicator of someone who has BPD is violent outbursts, which I'm not proud of. I've probably had a couple violent outbursts before, and altercations. Thank God, not incriminating altercations, no. But let me say violent outbursts of anger, and it's the type of anger where you just black out and you won't remember what has happened. So the first time I got institutionalized was in 2019. My family admitted me to a hospital after a really big breakout, and they thought that I was an alcoholic, because everything that had happened was after I had just came back from a nightclub. They thought that I had either taken drugs, which I don't do at all. Never, ever. I'm like, the one thing I'm fearful for is drugs, and I'll get into the conversation of my family experience history and the use of drugs, which is why I will never do it. The second thing is they thought I was either an alcoholic. So went to the hospital, they did all of the blood tests, liver is good, thyroid is good, and then went for a couple therapy sessions and went saw a psychiatrist, and they looked at my symptoms. It's the way that they dealt with my situation at the institution is like when you go and a doctor thinks you might have cancer, right? So they do scans, they test your blood and all of that. That's exactly what happened. That's how I got diagnosed, and that's what I want the stigma when it comes to BPD, when it comes to non-conventional illnesses, that it's okay, you know. The sooner that you know what's going on with you mentally and with your body, because mental health also can, let's say, flow into physical illness, and that's a conversation I want to have if you guys actually like this video. But yeah, that's what I think, because I'm in a better mood today. I'm more open to talk about it. If you have more questions, or if you want more of a research, I'm happy to even like sit down with my psychiatrist so you guys can understand exactly what BPD is. Obviously I'm not a doctor, so I can't give medical advice, but yeah, that's what I have. That's the secret I've been sitting with for like 2 years now. And you know what's funny, one important thing that I didn't mention is that in the beginning I did say borderline BPD, borderline personality disorder, is not something that's genetic, but when in medicine, when they've studied it, and from my research, most patients that have BPD suffered severe childhood trauma. And I can definitely say, when I look at my childhood, you know, when you go to a therapist, they're like, so your childhood, what happened? I look at my childhood, there's a lot of traumatic experiences that happened to me and around me, which I won't dive into the details, you know, because everyone has their own version of the truth and their own version of a story. But things, I also have triggers that exist in my life today that surround me, which I'm actually kind of happy because I'm moving out, and all of that. But yeah, thank you so much. This is how we're starting my life, Zintle, with a bang, with a bang bang, with a bang 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 bang. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And yeah, I feel so good today. Make sure to also follow me on Instagram, and it's season 2 of my life, Zintle. Stay safe. Mwah.